Hey everyone, it's Jason. I'm at the park and I actually came out here because I wanted to test a new video gimbal. I brought it, it's the DJI RS4 Mini, and I wanted to bring it out to the park to test it. But it's snowing here, so I was a little hesitant to bring it out because I'm not sure how weather resistant it is. I'm filming on my camera now and that's weather sealed, and I also have actually a rain cover over the camera. So really it's protected, but this gimbal has all kinds of moving parts and a screen, and I don't know how resistant it is to the weather, so I don't really want to bring it out because, well, I have to send it back in 2 weeks, and if I send it back all broken, it might not be very good. So I want to take good care of it. Oh, I think that was a bird. That's a kind of a cool sound. I wonder what that is. I saw some magpies early on when I was coming up here. And it was really cool because I was walking and I just looked to the left and I saw them in the tree, and that was really cool because they were just sitting there. I think they didn't like the cold. I think they don't like the cold, and I don't think they like the snow much either. I think they're just resting there. You can hear something in the background that could be one of those magpies, but it sounds a little different than them. So it could even be a new bird. I'm kind of tempted to go look for it. But anyway, I decided to record this video, which is a completely unplanned video. And it's advice for photographers that may not be so often iterated on sort of places like this, like YouTube. And, I often give advice, or I often talk about different things that help me in my own photography, such as, well, just coming out to the park often, or coming out to different areas, because going out again and again is going to maximize your chances, and, learning your gear and field craft and all that other stuff. But this is a different tip. It's a different tip for photographers, and that is, my tip is to spend less time on the internet. Yeah, I really think it's a good idea to spend less time on the internet. And the reason why that is because, well, like all technologies, the internet has a tendency to modify human behavior just on the way it's built, where we modify our environment, but our environment modifies us. And the internet modifies us in a certain way, and it encourages the maximization of single variables. So what do I mean by that? For example, photography. Photography has many different variables or perspectives, aspects to it that people can enjoy. They can enjoy the final image. They can enjoy the social aspect of sharing, of communicating experiences through visuals that can't really be communicated in words in the same way. They can enjoy the sort of social aspect of hanging out with other photographers and sort of maybe enjoying the slower aspects of photography. And I think while the internet is one of those things that maximizes for a single variable, the internet maximizes for sort of production of imagery and the immediate visual impact of imagery. So the production of lots of photos with a lot of visual impact. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. Because, well, one, in itself, it's not a bad thing, is what I mean to say, because, well, we all want to become better photographers, produce better imagery, produce more stunning pictures. But that's not the only aspect of photography. And what the internet does is it emphasizes only that variable, and all the other aspects of photography are de-emphasized, such as communicating with other people or getting to know other people through photography, enjoying the slower aspects of photography, stuff like that. There's so many different variables or so many different aspects of photography one can enjoy. And the internet, what it does is it kind of only de-emphasizes those, makes those a little bit irrelevant on the internet, and only emphasizes the final product. It kind of reduces us to the final product. And that can kind of take away a lot of the joy of photography. So I think what I would recommend then is if you enjoy photography, you should take some time away from the internet. I take it as far as possible every Sunday away from the internet. I don't use the internet at all on Sundays. And I also, another thing I do is I have a sort of subset of my photography that I don't share online either. Sometimes I take pictures. There are many images I've taken that I've just not uploaded to the internet. Now, of course, being a content creator, I also, and I write for Photography Life, I do post a lot of my images online, and I like sharing them online. At least I like the process in general. I like sharing photography and talking about photography, but there's a subset of my images that I really like that I probably will never share online, but I like to share with people in person. And it kind of keeps me having a sort of domain that's away again from that technological system that only maximizes for a certain variable. And I think that system, well, it can help us learn. Certainly I've learned lots of stuff watching videos and reading articles. It can help us learn, it can help us meet other photographers, find new places to go. It can also sort of be a rather shallow and superficial system that's not very sort of satisfying in the long run, especially because the internet has sort of replaced a lot of social venues or social fora for sharing. You know, people probably used to hang out in photography clubs more, and now they just hang out on the internet. And I find that fundamentally less satisfying. I think it is less satisfying. And I think if you spend too much time on the internet, you will be habituated to thinking that photography is all about the final shot. It's all about creating these amazing shots, going after novelty and producing bigger and better shots every single time, just like how the film industry often hypes up sequels and produces more explosions in the action movies, you know. So I think the internet has that potential to habituate your mind into thinking that that's the only thing that matters. And over time, if you use the internet too much, what's going to happen is that you may start to feel in your core that the purpose of photography is to produce endless amounts of amazing images to post on social media and get hundreds of likes. And that will become the goal instead of the original goal of just exploring your own self, your own being, developing yourself with photography. So those are two separate goals. Like one is to explore yourself through art, and another one is to sort of provide the fuel that makes these platforms run by tech companies more efficient. So those are two separate goals, you know. So I think, yeah, of course, I'm not saying we shouldn't go after beautiful imagery, amazing, stunning pictures, but that's not the only aspect of photography, you know. There's so many other aspects integrated within that, like, you know, talking to another photographer. If you talk to another photographer in person, then you must know that that activity is a lot more rich and it has a lot more dimensionality, it has more dimensions than simply sharing photos online. In general, if you just share your photos online and strangers react to them, then that's not nearly as satisfying as if you share a photo with a friend and go out with a friend, taking photos and talking about photography. So that's not to say that the internet has no benefits or that you can't use the internet to grow as a photographer, but it does mean that you should restrict your time on the internet, beware of its limitations, beware of more than just limitations, beware of the capability of any technology such as the internet to change your way of thinking so that you start to seek goals that are not exactly aligned with your own personal growth. So, yeah, I think basically, in summary, if you love photography, if you love art in general, I think it's a good idea to take some time away from the internet and take some time away from YouTube. This is a YouTube channel, but, you know, I actually watch very few YouTube videos. I might watch at most 3 or 4 per month. I think it's a good idea not to spend too much time on YouTube. And, you know, I make part of my living on YouTube, but I still think you should take some time away from YouTube. Maybe in addition to that day that you take away from the internet. Oh, there was a bird there. Oh, I was a little distracted. Maybe in addition to that day where you take time away from the internet, you might find another day of the week, or maybe 2 or 3 days of the week, where you don't visit YouTube at all. You don't visit social media. And I think that's another way to sort of limit your sort of exposure to these things. And on those days, during those times when you have time away from the internet, take some time to explore your hobby on your own. Take some pictures, maybe with the goal that you won't share those pictures online. Share them with a friend, send them through email, or even print them out and send them through the mail to someone you know, maybe a fellow photographer, or maybe just someone like a friend or someone in the family. Use alternative means of sharing your photography. Take some time away from sharing photography on the internet. And I think perhaps even more than many other tips I talked about, that may be the one that can help you not only improve your photography, because it'll give you time to ponder your photography in a more meaningful way, but it can also give you time to enjoy photography more, to just have a better time doing it, because there's a lot more to art, there's a lot more to human expression than just putting it all on some horrible digital dump like the internet, which is mainly run by tech companies whose only purpose is to extract wealth from the world and get richer while providing us with seemingly wondrous conveniences that may only benefit us in the short term. Or if they do benefit us, may have some disadvantages that are not immediately apparent just because the human mind is geared towards going after that kind of long-term thing. So I spent too much time on this topic, and I think I'll just say once more that the moral of the story is spend less time on the internet, spend less time on platforms run by big tech companies, spend less time on YouTube, spend more time outdoors, or if you're indoors even, just spend more time away from the internet, maybe editing your photos, maybe just writing in a photography journal, but keeping it to yourself so that you don't have the end goal of sharing it online. Okay, I hope this tip helped you with your photography. I know it's a complex world today with all this digital stuff around. It provides us with a lot of cool tools to capture images that may not have been possible before, but it also has some downsides which are not immediately apparent. So that's my purpose of making this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any comments or suggestions, I would be happy to hear them in the comments. And if not, I'll see you again next time.